Boxplots. It's one variable, univariate, and it is quantitative. Quantitative. Okay. Boxplots, which is also called the old box and whisker plots, is in your graphing calculator under second y equals, and they have two of them actually. They have one that looks like this and one that looks like this. This is the one that we are going to use. This is called a modified box plot. A modified box plot. A modified box plot shows outliers. That's what those dots over to the side are. They're showing outliers. Now, box plots are really good at showing, you know, the general shape of something, whether or not we have outliers, but you can't tell about individual data other than the outliers. Now, let's take a look at a generic box plot. Okay. In the box plot, this down here is my lower value, my minimum. And my minimum, and right here where it's called the point where the whisker stops, is not the same, so I call that my lower whisker. Sometimes your minimum is the same as your lower whisker. When would that happen? When there's no outliers at the bottom. This here is called quartile 1, first quartile, or also called the 25th percentile. This line in the middle is your median. This is Q3, or third quartile, or 75th percentile. And up here, this is your max. And here, since you don't have any upper outliers, it's also your upper whisker. That helps us to do something called the 5-number summary. We do the 5-number summary with box plots. A 5-number summary is minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and maximum. Has nothing to do with lower upper whiskers unless they happen to be the min or the max. Okay? Now, also what we need to talk about is, oh, let me do this. Let me erase this here. We do call them quartiles for a reason. A box plot is broken up into 4 parts. From your lowest value all the way to Q1 is 25% of your data, a quarter. From Q1 to your median is 25% of your data. Doesn't matter how long it is, it's 25%. From your median to Q3 is 25%, and from Q3 to your upper value, whether or not it's an outlier, is 25%. And then here's your 4 quarters. Now you say, well, how does that happen? Well, this data inside this here and over here are less spread out than this data over here and over here. Okay? And so wherever it's longer, that means that's where it's more spread out. So this one would have a left skew. Okay, if it was longer on the right, it would be a right skew. If it was about the same on both sides, it would be approximately symmetrical. So if I said, what is the... Now look here in the box. That box, this is Q1, this is Q3. What do we know about Q1 to Q3? That is IQR, which is Q3 minus Q1. Interquartile range. It's the range of your interquartiles, your middle quartiles, Q1 to Q3. What percent is always the IQR? It's always 50%, and it's in the middle. So it's always the middle 50%. Okay? Now, I think we're ready to take a look at some data. And if you're looking on your sheet, it is on Roman numeral 10 for chapter 1. Roman numeral 10. Letter D, number 2. And I actually changed it up a little bit. And so I'm just going to write down what I have changed up here. So I have variable. Now I'm going to show you a computer printout. Why am I going to show you a computer printout? Because AP test people don't really care if you know how to put things in a calculator or not. They just want you to know if you can do things correctly. So if they just give you the data, you can get the box plot in your calculator. Well, that's not that interesting. And so they usually put it into something like this, which is the computer printout. I did change the min here. No, I didn't. I kept that the same. I lied. Female is staying the same. It's the male I changed. Min is still 5 for male. 25th percent, or 25%, is still 27. What I called it 16 here. That's what I changed. Right there. Median is the same. 34 and 18.5. And 75% is 50 and 22. I changed that down here too. It's 22 now. And we have max 8633. And we have SE. Stands for standard error. Don't need to know that right now. We don't get to standard error until later on. Second semester. We're into first semester. Depending where we're at. And then we have, okay, we still have variable. We have female. We have male. But now we have lower values and upper values. And that's 20, 21, 24. And down here is 5, 6, 8. The upper values, 80, 83, 86. And 30, 31, 33. Okay. First thing that we are going to do to make a box plot, you need to know the 5-number summary. So we're going to do females and males. So I need to know min, I need to know Q1, I need to know median, Q3, and max for both the females and the males. So I don't need to know mean, don't need to know standard deviation. Men, well, 20, 5 for males. Q3 is 25%, Q1 is 25 percentile, 27 and 16. Median, it's right there, 34 and 18.5. If you see things on here that you're not going to use, then don't use it. Don't start just using it just because you want to fill in numbers. So you see like 90% or 10%, don't use those. 50 and 22. And max, 86 and 33. And these are number of C-sections. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to find, do we have any outliers? So let's do female first. I do Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Q1 for females is 27. IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So it is 50 minus 27, which is 23. 1.5 times 23 is 34.5. So 27 minus that is negative 7.5. Do I have any number below negative 7.5? My minimum is 20. So I don't have anything in the negatives. So I don't have any there. So no outliers there. Now let's go over here. Q3 is 50. 1.5 times IQR is not going to change, so that's going to be 34.5. So that's 84.5. Any number above 84.5. Well, our max is 86. So a number has to be above 84.5. It has to be at least the max. So the question is, where does my upper whisker go to? So it goes to any number that is below 84.5. Well, 86 is an outlier. 83 is not. So that 83 is going to be my upper whisker. It's not a max, it's an upper whisker. And this 86 is an outlier. Okay? Dun-da-da. Dun-da-da. All right. Now let's do the males. Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Well, Q1 is 16. Oh, 1.5. Q3 minus Q1. Well, Q3 is 22. 16. So 16 minus 1.5 times 6, which is 9. 16 minus 9 is 7. Any numbers below 7, not including 7. So if 7 was up there, that would not be an outlier. So it's below that. So let's look at males. We didn't have any for females. Okay, that's done. Anything below 7. Oh, I got 2 of them. I got this. I got this. Meaning 8, these are outliers, is my lower whisker. Okay? Now let's do Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Q3 is 22. plus 1.5 times IQR is 9, which is 31. Are there any numbers above 31, not including 31? That is an outlier. That is not. Okay, that is not. That is my upper whisker. Now, I am ready to make my box plot, modify box plot. Okay. This is actually called a side-by-side box plot because we're comparing more than one. We're comparing two here. You can compare as many as you want. Your minimum is 5. Your maximum is 86. Maybe go by tens. And these are C-sections down here. Okay, so the first one is 20 is my min. Okay, 20 is here. My Q1 is 27 here. My median is 34 here. Q3 is 50. My max is 86, but I have an upper outlier, and that is my max actually, 86. Okay, so right here. So my upper whisker is 83. This is 86, this is 83, just to let you know. Okay. So does 80 even get graphed? No. Does 20, 21, 24 get graphed? Well, 20 did because that was my lowest number, but 21 and 24 did not. Okay. So just because they have these numbers here doesn't mean you just start graphing them all. So this is female. My min for male is 5, but that's an outlier. So is 6. 8 is not. So, okay, this is 8. And then I go to 16. Median is 18.5. Q3 is 22. And well, we have an outlier at 33. And 31 is my max, not an outlier. And that's male. You got to label which one of these is which. And these are doctors and C-sections. Got to give it a title. Okay, I really don't need that there anymore. So I have doctors and C-sections. I have 33 as an outlier, 86 as an outlier. A lot of stuff going on. Now, let's describe. Since this is quantitative data, we are going to use GSOCs. And in quantitative data, in Boxplots, we do not use the G, the gaps. Can't really tell gaps in Boxplots. So shape. Females, it's a little bit longer towards the right. So females are skewed right. hard to tell which way the males are skewed, if it's right or left. You got 2 outliers to the left for males, 1 to the right for males. And so, in a lot of the if you take away the outliers, the rest looks pretty symmetrical. So we'll say, the males are approximately symmetrical. Outliers. So we got outliers. Females have 1 outlier. At 86 C-sections. The males have 3 at 5, 6, and 33. Center. Well, what do you think measure of center you're going to use? Doesn't really matter about shape here. You got box plots, you're going to use median. Now you want to compare the medians. The females have a larger median at 34 C-sections than the males, which has 18.5. And what goes with median? And that's IQR. So who has the bigger interquartile range? Well, the females have 23 and the males have 6. So the females have a much larger middle 50% IQR of 23 than the males IQR of 6. And now you have your box plots, and we described your box plots. We described 5-number summary. I think, hopefully, that you are pretty good with this now. Good luck. Box plots are used for univariate data, and you have to know how to calculate outliers using the Q1 minus 1.5 IQR and Q3 plus 1.5 IQR rule, and make sure you know how to construct and interpret modified box plots appropriately. Good luck.